Hi everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp. We're going to look at some hidden gems, but with a bit of a twist in that almost all of them, / probably all of them, have a co-op element. And it'll be a couch co-op element as well.
Yeah, we've got 10 games here to talk about, and this is one of a series of videos we're going to do looking at co-op specifically. We did our best couch co-op games recently, and we're going to look at things like LAN co-op in the future, in the near future. But yeah, as Mark said, these are more hidden gems that do have that co-op element to them too. So which games have we picked? Well, let's find out.
Let's start off with a game called Conduct Together. As the title suggests, it's very much designed as a puzzle game that you're working with a friend to complete. It's literally directing trains to stations. This one was previously on mobile, so if that puts you off, then so be it. But actually, it's a very fun and enjoyable experience if you can find someone that knows what they're doing.
Okay, right, yeah.
If you've got someone that has no clue about spatial awareness and how things overlap, and I'm not talking about you, missus.
So what you're saying is if the person that you're playing with bumps into the coffee table on the way to the couch, just turn the game off before you've even started. Is that, it's fine.
Yeah. The controller gets slid under a cushion. Sorry, I've lost it. But yeah, it's very fun actually. And if you can find it on sale, it goes on sale very often for stupidly cheap. I think the last sale was like 89 pence.
Nice.
So grab it when it goes on sale. That's Conduct Together.
Then we've got one that came out quite recently, a couple of weeks ago. It's called Abathor, and it's very much like a classic platformer in how it's set up. Reminds me a bit of things like Rastan, which was an old arcade game, but it has got that co-op element to it. I think you can play this in 4-player.
Yes,
actually,
you can,
can't you? We did it in 2, obviously. And you also can buy like permanent upgrades for your characters as well as you go along. You have a basic attack, and I think there was a more ranged attack for each character. Really lovely pixel art style, some nice backgrounds to it.
Yeah, a really handcrafted and a kind of a labour of love, this one. There's about 50 different levels. There's some quality boss fights in there. I think this is one we should definitely pick up again and try and smash through, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I think we did the first world together, but it's one I'd happily play again.
Yeah, that lovely 16-bit style. It also has a great soundtrack. I have to throw that in there. And there's just a few, like, I mean, you may have seen these types of things before, but there's like the waves crashing in the background when you're walking across the beach. It's very cool. That one retails at about 13 quid, and again it's already had a couple of sales, but yeah, good game, that good time. Following on from that, then we've got Huntdown. This is a great game, isn't it?
Oh, this was a lot of fun. Yeah, we finished this one off. So it's a run and gun, again obviously more than one player, and it has that again sort of 16 almost 32-bit style to it in terms of its graphics. Has like the cyberpunk, I guess, isn't it, like dystopian future look to it. You are bounty hunters that are trying to track down gangs and bring in the ringleaders, you know, and it has like the Warriors feel to it, the film The Warriors, classic film. It's a lot of fun to play. It's quite difficult, and again last boss I think was a bit of a nightmare, just from what I remember, but it does having someone with you just makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, its unique mechanics are, well, there's loads of different weapons that you can pick up, and there's some like chunky old beasts, you know, you end up with these big old machine guns and stuff, but you can duck in and out of doorways and behind cover, and that cover mechanic's quite intrinsic to the gameplay. If you made a cake, Glenn, alright, it would be like 1/3 Snake Plissken.
Yeah, I can see that, yep.
1/3 the Warriors.
Sure.
And then 1/3, maybe one of the games you mentioned in our previous list, the Metal Slug or something like that.
Yeah, 1/3 Contra probably is the one that comes to my mind in this for this gameplay. But yeah, you're right, and that's a tasty cake.
That's a nice
I would
cake.
eat that cake.
Next up, we've got Death Road to Canada. Now, whenever we talk about this one, all I can remember is how far we got, and then we, as I always do, pushed us into a scenario where we just took too much of a risk.
Yeah.
And we headed down to a bunker, and I was like, you know, I'm ahead, clicking my heels, like, this is great. You're behind, like, looking, covering all the corners, panicking. And then we got to a little room and the zombies all flooded and killed us.
This is such a good game. Like, so you obviously you're in a car at times, but things will happen as you're driving. It may say like instances like you have a puncture and you have to stop, and then something happens to your party and whatnot, and you pick up other survivors as you go along. And every so often you can stop off at these places to get resources and refill on what you need. And obviously the zombies are there, and it's about, again, risk reward, isn't it? Do you stop? Do you keep searching, or do you have your fill and get back in the car and do one? And it reminds me of like an episode of The Walking Dead, but an early episode when it was good, you know. But you know, like, it has that feel of, in that show they would kill people off, and you'd have no idea it was coming. You know, they were quite brave in that, and you can feel like that. You can feel like you've got plot armor on, and you'll be fine, and then you just get mullered and you're dead, and that's it. And this was a very pleasant surprise.
It really was, yeah, it's great. And funny you say The Walking Dead. There's a new episode in the Fear the Walking Dead that is exactly like one of the moments we had where we were looting a small town, and you're looking at the ambling zombies and you're like, well, they're slow, we'll be fine. And we stayed just too long. You kind of come out the shop and there's like thousands of them.
Because that's what you do. You look out, you have a look about and you scout about, and it's like, there's 10, there's 2 of us, we're stronger, we're fast, we'll be fine. You go in this shop, you come out, and now there's 50. Like, whoa, okay, now we're dead.
Bing bong.
Yeah, good game.
Kingdom 2 Crowns. We played this one in co-op, I think, for the first time only like a month or so back.
Yeah, I think this was the one I reviewed, but obviously I played the vast majority of that in single player.
Yeah.
And then we played it in co-op, and it works very well. It's definitely a slow burn.
It is,
isn't it? Like compared to some of these games. But you have to fortify your defences basically on your town, your castle. Well, it's more of a town, I suppose. You're on horseback, and you have to go off and get the resources. You have to send your followers as you start to recruit them to go and chop down trees or whatever, and then every night you'll be attacked by the enemies, and you need to survive. And the ultimate aim is to like build a ship to leave that area and go to a new one.
Yeah, in many ways actually, as you're talking about it there, and I'm thinking about some of my favourites, it reminds me a bit of like a 2D megalomania. You get your followers, you send them out to do battle and things, and you build up different fortifications, and then you can level up your main town. But slow burn, definitely. If you're looking for actually, in a weird way, a little bit of a relaxing co-op game, this might be something along those lines.
Yeah, I would say so. It does have that action element of being attacked, but it never feels stressful.
No.
Certainly not in early stages anyway. And it is just a very different experience, and it was definitely more fun with a second player.
Then you've got classic RPG Titan Quest that I used to play back in the day on my PC. And then it came out on Switch, and we actually played a good chunk in co-op.
Yeah,
that features heavily in the review footage. And it is a good time in co-op. It shows its age, a little bit janky. But then they released, after the review, a massive expansion. I think it was called Ragnarok. That was like a whole new storyline. 20 years after the game had initially come out, and on a Nintendo Switch, just so random. Well worth diving into that. I think it's on sale at the moment, actually. Obviously, depending on when this video goes out, maybe not, but it usually does. But if you want a classic RPG that follows that old Baldur's Gate style experience with the real-time combat, which it has to be said is a bit janky, definitely a good choice, and maybe not one that you actually realised had co-op in it at all.
Right, next we're going to put a shoot 'em up in. I'm going to go for DoDonPachi. It's called Blissful Death. That's like the Western title. I'm not sure if it's actually on Western eShop stores.
Oh, where can you get it?
Well, I got it from PlayAsia.
Oh.
Yes, I did use our discount code, if you're going to ask. But
where is that?
It's just down below. It's 5% if you're interested.
Nice.
Saves a bit. No, I did. I genuinely did. Because I wanted to play this game, because I've heard a lot about DoDonPachi as a series. I do love shoot-em-ups, I'm just not very well versed in them. And I wanted to give this one a try, and we played it in co-op, and it's fantastic fun. Obviously, it's a bullet hell shooter. It's insanely hard. So I suppose it's about your mindset. You will die a lot if you're not used to shooters. If you want to give it a try and learn the ropes, why not do it with a friend? Either someone that's better than you and can pull you along, or just both at a similar level and die together. But it's a good time. There is one that is on Western eShop stores, which is called DoDonPachi Resurrection.
Right, okay.
Just as another DoDonPachi game,
Yeah, this was very, very difficult, has to be said. Very difficult game. But once you've figured out your hitboxes, it gets a lot more manageable, doesn't it?
It does, and that's where the fun is, starting to take those risks, because you start to realise how big the target that you present is, as opposed to how big the ship is,
Next up, we've got Gal Guardian's Demon Purge, which was originally called something completely different.
Yeah, they changed the name of it. I don't know why. I'm not sure the story behind it. But this is, again, really very good game. Reminds me a little bit of like a Castlevania in terms of how you play. You have a character each, of course, and you go through these runs through the castle, and you'll take on a number of different bosses and what have you. This is one that we started playing. This was ages ago, to be fair. But when you're going to give a game half an hour and you end up playing it for 3 hours. It was one of those, wasn't it?
It really was. What I like about this is that your two characters, one is essentially ranged, one of them's melee. You have to work together to defeat certain enemies effectively without getting absolutely rinsed. And again, there were some tough bosses, but there are actually some really difficult platforming sections and stuff. So working with someone that actually has spatial awareness and knows what they're doing makes a huge difference to your ability to survive. So our penultimate game then is Untitled Goose Game. I wanted to stick this on because I have to be honest, when I think of co-op games, I always forget this has co-op.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's because it didn't have co-op when it launched.
Possibly, which is odd because I've completed it twice, once with my wife and once with my daughter.
Oh, okay.
But it's one that doesn't stay in your mind, and it should.
Yeah.
Because it's very good.
So how does the co-op work?
So you, rather than having one goose, you have two geese, and it plays very similarly to the single player, other than that, obviously.
Yeah.
But you start to discuss the puzzles and how you need to take each item, and if I annoy that person and chase them over there, then you can come in here and you can do this bit and whatnot. So it definitely it has that element that I love in co-op games, which is discussion. It really does provoke discussion and critical thinking, and it's a lot of fun. I especially enjoy playing it with my daughter because she was a bit younger then, and it did get her to start thinking a little outside the box. So it was just for that purpose, it was a good game,
Absolutely, yeah, really good. And again, another one that drops down on sale quite often. Last but not least, we've got Cat Quest 3. Now this one's only just come out. I've been playing it. I was thinking for a review. It may have had a review, it may not. If it hasn't, it's a brilliant game. I should have reviewed it, I'm an idiot. And if it has, then you probably might know a bit about it. But it takes the Cat Quest series into the land of pirates. Now previously you had the cats and the dogs fighting against each other. Now you've got pirate cats and dogs, and then pirate rats.
Yeah, pirates.
Pirates, yeah. Exactly, those. And it's very good. It feels much more fluid to me than the previous ones. I feel much less like I'm on rails. It gives you a large area to explore, obviously going around on your ship, exploring islands, looking for treasure chests. There's lots of little puzzles on those islands as well, environmental ones. Hit the crystals to get the treasure chest to spawn. There's dungeons in there, some of them quite tricky. I mean, the first one Glen helped me with, it wasn't easy, was it?
No, don't be fooled by the aesthetic. It's not a kid's game,
no.
It is quite tricky. It does have a bite to it. And also because of the isometric view, sometimes just getting your head around your perspective in hitting enemies can take a bit of time. But when you get into a flow, it's actually a lot of fun. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with this one, I must say.
This one also has ranged in it, so you've got a pistol that you can switch to, as well as your magic that was in the previous games. So yeah, I'm very impressed with it actually. I thought it was going to be more of the same. I'd got a little bit burnt out by the end of Cat's Quest 2, so the way they've taken it, I mean, I love pirates. It's awesome.
Yeah, that was a good shout, wasn't it? Yeah.
It really was.
Lovely, there we go then. There are 10 hidden gems, games that are maybe not quite so familiar as ones you'd usually find in a co-op centric list. Please do let us know of any that you'd add to this list or ones that you'd recommend. Stick it all down in the comment section below.
Save yourself 5% on our eShop that is now back up and running. You can get 5% back whenever you buy eShop cards in cash back. You don't have to do anything special, no codes or anything like that. And we get a little kickback from Nintendo, so happy days.
There's also that link down there to Play Asia that we did jokingly mention. We're talking about DoDonPachi.
I wasn't joking.
Oh no, he wasn't. No, it's down there, and if you want to save a bit importing any games, then do use it please. It saves you 5% if you use the code and the link of course, and it does help our channel out, which is much appreciated. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.